Hey, what is up, guys? It's Rules for Rebels. It is Monday morning, just having my morning coffee here, and wanted to make one of these quick videos where we kind of spitball and brainstorm a potential business idea. So, first things first, the business idea is selling reclaimed wood. For those of you guys who don't know what reclaimed wood is, it's really popular right now in home design, furniture design, etc. Reclaimed wood is essentially old wood that they salvage after tearing down a barn, tearing down an old factory, etc. And as you can see here from the picture, like reclaimed wood is aged, it has cool patterns, it shows some age. And a lot of people make like barn doors out of it. A lot of people make end tables and furniture. Some people will do picture frames, and other people use it to do like an accent wall in their home, which you can see looks pretty cool. So this stuff sells for pretty good prices. If we go over to eBay, obviously, you're somewhat restricted by how much wood you can ship to somebody because at some point the shipping becomes cost prohibitive to somebody just buying reclaimed wood locally. But here you can see somebody selling a reclaimed wood bed frame that they made. Other people are just selling, 15 reclaimed wood boards, which is probably enough to, sorry, that browser crashed on me, which is probably enough to, do a little wall mural or something like that. Here, somebody has 18 pieces of reclaimed wood from an old barn for crafting. So you can see here's a pretty limited amount of wood. It's shorter pieces. So this is something that could easily be shipped in a priority mailbox, which, is a flat rate regardless of how much it weighs. So as long as the pieces are small, you could fit quite a bit into like a medium or even a large flat rate box. One other tip about flat rate boxes for those of you guys who do ship heavier or larger items, they actually make a lot of sizes that you're not going to see in your average post office. The post office typically only carries one or two types of medium boxes and one or two types of large boxes. However, if you go on USPS.com or if you have a Stamps.com account and you can go on there and order yourself additional shipping materials, they actually have a lot of different sizes. And there's one large box that's like 3 times as big as the ones you're going to see in the post office. I have a feeling they don't put them out because they don't want people shipping these things because they're probably more expensive, even though they are the same price as the smaller large boxes. But there's a whole assortment of USPS flat rate boxes that you guys probably don't even know about unless you go to the post office. But we'll just kind of scroll through here and see, reclaimed wood, reclaimed wood. I mean, a single board is selling for $34.50. So, I mean, you guys can see there's some money in here, right? Let's go over, just out of curiosity, if we go over to Terapeak and pull a report on Terapeak. Let's see, we'll go over to the main column. Let's see how much in a given week is sold of reclaimed wood. So in a given week, $21,414.82 is sold. So that's actually really, really good sales numbers. The sell-through rate is a little bit disappointing. The sell-through rate is only 18%. I think I wouldn't be turned off to this category. I think the reason the sell-through rating is so low is because if you think about it, reclaimed wood is very, if you're going to buy a phone charger, you go buy a phone charger. There's really not that much selection involved. However, reclaimed wood, you're typically probably going for a certain look in your home. So, this person who's looking to do a wall like this, they want a very specific type of board. And if we flip through, everybody has their own kind of unique style. So because it's sort of like shoes or a handbag. There's so many different styles. Everyone's going to have their own taste. So a lot of this stuff, this may be nice and well for somebody's project, but if this isn't for the look I'm going for in my house, this probably isn't going to do anything for me. So, it comes down to personal preference that everybody's looking for probably a certain pattern or certain style of reclaimed wood. So it's kind of understandable that the sell-through ratings would be pretty low. Just some other random information. The day of the week when most people, when it sells the best is Monday. Oddly enough, the time of day when most of this stuff is selling is 4 to 5 a.m. I'm guessing maybe construction guys and handymen are up early in the morning. Let's see, here's the time of day chart. Things seem to pick up a little bit in the evening. Monday, again, by far the day when people are buying the most reclaimed wood. Here's some of the highest price listings. Here's a reclaimed barnwood kitchen island refinished table. And it looks like the hottest price point is like $0 to $31.99. Let's see like the type of items that are selling. Anyhow, I'll just kind of ramble about the actual business idea. So you could just sell raw reclaimed wood, just sell boards and things like that. If you're a little bit handy, you might want to build some furniture, build some like decorative crates that people can keep plants in or something like that. You could focus on larger pieces of wood for people who are doing like wall murals, or you could focus on smaller chunks like I showed you guys a few minutes ago. somebody who was selling smaller pieces of reclaimed wood, more used for like craft projects and things like that. You could sell this on eBay, you could sell this on Etsy, you could sell it on Craigslist locally where you're not having to deal with shipping. And here we're just going to look at some of the items which got the most bids. Okay, one reclaimed wood soap dish, rustic reclaimed pallet, $45. Reclaimed floating shelf, barn style. I mean, this is essentially just a board that sold for $19. 20 square feet of reclaimed wood sold for $57. The floating shelves seem to be pretty popular. If you can find yourself like a 4x2 or an 8x2 or whatever, that could easily be called a floating shelf and sold for probably a little bit more money. But as you can see, there's some decent money here on eBay. If we go over to Craigslist, here's some people who have like reclaimed barnwood furniture. Somebody made a wine rack. Even if you're not very handy, something like this would actually be very, very easy to make. Reclaimed wood headboard selling for $425. I noticed the beams are really popular. This probably isn't something you can ship because it's so heavy and so large, but for local sales, people like using the reclaimed beams as like ceiling beams, as accent pieces on walls. And then here's also where you can actually, because we've talked about where you can sell the reclaimed wood, right? But where do you source it from? So here's a Craigslist listing. We need to have 2 old barns removed from a farm in North Judson, Indiana. Buyer must have insured crew that can handle the reclamation salvage of barn and clean up the site afterward. The barns were built circa 1900 and made from rough sawn lumber and 5.5-inch beams that are nailed and not pegged. The siding is mostly 11.5-inch wide boards on the barn. Both barns have lofts, so think about how much wood you're going to get off this barn. You know what I mean? Like, this thing is giant. In addition to having all 4 walls and the roof, you also have all the interior beams and stuff like that as well. And if we look here, these people have 2 barns. Now, this particular person is going to charge you $1,000 to come out to their property and basically allow you to tear down the barn. However, what you could do, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who, have an unsightly old barn or an unsafe old barn that's falling down. You could probably just stop by some farms or some, if you have like an unincorporated area in your town where people have, old barns and things like that, you could probably go knock on somebody's door and say, hey, if you have any interest in taking that barn down, I'd be happy to do it for free if you allow me to keep the lumber. And I think you'd be surprised how many people go for that. I know in my area, there's actually a lot of developers knocking down the last of the farmland, and they have a lot of old barns. So they're just going to knock that stuff down anyway. So if you spoke to a developer or the property owner before they sold, they would probably allow you to take the barn down. Now, if we go back to Craigslist here, I think there's some people selling, here's somebody selling reclaimed barnwood tiles. I was trying to find the listing. I saw there's a lot of people selling, see if they list their price. From what I've seen, most people are charging about $3 per square foot for reclaimed wood. So if you think about it, think about how many feet of lumber you're going to get from that barn I just showed you. And then if you figure you're getting paid $3 per square foot, I can't find anybody who lists the price, but I know yesterday I was looking, and people were basically charging $3 a square foot for reclaimed wood. So there's definitely a lot of money in this. If you wanted to get into this, what would you need, or what would you need to get set up? It would help if you had a truck or a trailer to where you could haul this wood away. It would probably help if you were fairly handy so that you could A, take apart barns, and B, potentially build some of this stuff into furniture. I mean, it's a pretty good buck selling reclaimed wood at $3 a square foot. But imagine if you could make one of those hanging sliding barn doors that are popular on HGTV right now, or an end table, or even something simple like a picture frame or some decorative, milk crate style things where people could put plants or store items. All of a sudden, as soon as you make something out of it, the price skyrockets. And you can see people are selling furniture made from reclaimed wood for $400, $800, $1,500. Here's a coffee table made of reclaimed wood door that they're selling for $1,000. So there's a pretty good amount of money in this. Like I said, if you have a property or a large garage or something like that where you could store all this wood to where you don't have to, blow it out at a cheap price, but you could actually sell it piece by piece or lot by lot to people, you'd be able to squeeze a lot more money out of it. But this is a pretty simple concept. I think your best luck would be local sales on Craigslist, Let's Go, offer up 5 miles, sites like that. But as you can see, there's also a healthy market for this stuff on eBay as well. And you can even set up a Shopify store and sell individual pieces. If you build furniture or make things with it, you could sell that as well. If we look at this Terapeak report, the total number of listings for reclaimed wood is actually slightly going down. The average end price is actually kind of on an upswing, so that's something good that we like to see. We can take a look and see. And by the way, if anybody's wondering what program I'm using to pull these stats, it's called Terapeak. It's a eBay analytic program. And basically we can see, this guy sold $2,295 worth of reclaimed wood. It was a single listing. We could go take a look at what that is. One thing I really like to see about this category, a lot of people have really high sell-through ratings. And the other thing you'll notice, there's not one or two people dominating sales in this category. It's pretty evenly spread out amongst everybody. So that means it's pretty easy to break into this category. And yeah, it looks like this category basically shows us how things sell internationally. I think some countries like Customs and Border Patrol may not want foreign wood coming in because there could be termites or bugs and things like that native to one area they don't want coming into their country. So I don't know that international would be very good for this. But as you can see, guys, here's the eBay or the Terapeak stats. I'm just curious if any reclaimed wood stuff's being sold on Amazon. I'm guessing probably not, but let's take a look. Okay, so there's some reclaimed wood furniture, but nobody's really selling the raw wood. Here's an actual sticker for people who are too lazy or don't want to actually put up wood on their walls. You can buy a peel and stick sticker. Here's somebody who's making reclaimed wood shelves, 20 bucks a piece. I mean, these boards cost absolutely nothing. So, somebody's probably making a good buck off of that. Again, this is a canvas. That's not real wood. But yeah, that's basically the hustle for you guys today. Sourcing and then turning around and selling reclaimed wood. Like I said, you can do it locally, you can do it on eBay, and you could also set up your own Shopify site. The only real downside or negative to doing this type of business is it's harder to scale. And here's what I mean. The same way that people who do retail arbitrage are constantly having to go out and look for unique items and then are having to go back and relist those items. It's a little bit more work than, let's say I'm selling, lamps that I'm buying from Alibaba. I can buy one of these lamps or I can buy 1,000 of these lamps. They're going to come straight to me. Once I create a listing, I can continue ordering from my supplier on Alibaba and sourcing that lamp. So there's really no work in terms of me having to relist items because it's always the same item that I'm selling. With reclaimed wood, because every barn you go knock down, because every board that you get in is going to be unique, you're basically going to have to break this stuff into lots. So hypothetically, I go tear down a barn, I take all the wood from that barn and I break it into 10-piece lots. So, okay, 10 pieces of wood here, 10 pieces of wood here, 10 pieces of wood here. And then I have to list each one of those individually. And I also have to take pictures of each one of those lots because, like I said, people who are buying this stuff are looking for a specific pattern or a specific look. So it's not as if you can just throw one picture up and say, I have 100 lots of 10 boards, because people are going to want to see every one of those 100 lots of boards. So it is going to be a little bit more labor intensive because it is a unique item. And every time you get wood, you're going to have to take pictures and list it. And people are going to want to, choose specific boards. But outside of that, I still think there's very good money in it. So, like I said, guys, right now, reclaimed wood, the HGTV and design shows and all that stuff is really hot. You could definitely take advantage of it. If you have some old barns in your area, you can probably get yourself some free wood. And the only cost to you, most likely, well, some people do charge you to go tear down their barns. The only cost is really sweat labor. I'm sure a lot of people would gladly have you come out to their property, knock down the barn, and take away all the wood. You're saving them from having to pay somebody from doing it. So hopefully you guys like this business idea. If so, give this video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button below the screen. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or other ways to kind of spin this idea, feel free to drop them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, guys, and stay tuned. We got a lot more great videos coming out later this week.